Yes, Your Honor. I did that in October, on October 25, 2023. I served on the state. They served on me numerous jail calls.
Okay.
I served on the state. They did not serve on me any jail calls from Forsyth County Jail.
Okay.
I found out Mr. Copeland was housed there. There's approximately 163 jail calls from Forsyth County. Served that on them 11 months ago, maybe, whatever that comes out to. It's only a 3-week period from February 16th, 2023 jail calls to March 7th, 2023. And I am narrowing what I'm going to use on the cross-examination of Mr. Copeland. Also, the state served on me huge amounts of jail calls on Mr. Copeland. So I'm going to, I believe, use some of what the state served on me.
Okay.
And I'd rather not serve it on the state until they are done with the witness, because I assume that then the state will just take my cross-examination from me. So I'm not trying to play gamesmanship. I didn't have to serve any of those jail calls because I would never use them. My case in chief, just on the cross. I'll do whatever, obviously, you tell me to do, but if I serve it on the state and then they use it on their direct, I don't really see the purpose of me just giving away.
Okay.
In addition to that, there are not going to be many jail calls to listen to. And what I plan to do, once the state surrenders the witness on direct examination, I would get all my exhibits to the court, to the state, to the court reporter. Like I said, jail calls, I won't use them for a while. My cross, I believe, is going to be lengthy, days on Mr. Copeland.
Okay.
So they'll have plenty of time, in my opinion, to listen to the jail calls. And I'm talking about total, maybe 10, 11, maximum, maybe a minimum of 2 or 3.
Okay, so you'll provide that, which jail calls you're going to use at the beginning of your cross?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then,
in the Dropbox.
is it the August 8th one or is it a different one?
It's a different one, Your Honor.
Okay.
I will pull up the date, co-conspirator Dropbox on Friday.
Okay.
Adams is, I'm assuming he told you, but he's doing another matter, which no problem for myself or Mr. Williams. But at approximately 1:50 to approximately 3 today, so an hour and 10 minutes, I have to be, court's permission on this case, but have to be outside your courtroom. So I can't believe I say this, but my wife is going to sit in with me, and that's okay with Mr. Williams. Her name is Colette, Colettee, Steel, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. She's been in my court before. That is fine, as long as somebody's here.
Thank you.
All right.
Is that even legal?
I think it's been resent to all parties, Your Honor.
Thank you.
It stands for PDF page because the report that they generated was a 6,000 page PDF. So we will be referencing, for example, the first one is PDF page 17. So at the bottom of the G. Garlington wiretap folder, you'll see P17, then 11 March 22 at 10:05 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Judge, what I'll do is I'll do whatever the court says, but what I'm suggesting is that I give a summary of what we're about to play, tell the court the timestamps, and then play them unless the defense wants to just tell us in advance what they object to, whatever the court says.
There is a summary, state summary in the exhibit that you just got forwarded by Mr. Atkins, and I appreciate him outlining that. I do. That makes it much easier for us to go seriatim through the wiretaps. But the summaries are in large part partially accurate. They're not fully accurate. So I'm confident that a number of us will object to all of this. For the court's information, I don't believe any of the people on these conversations will be testifying. So in that regard, I think we need to go through them item by item.
Okay. We didn't intend that the summaries be
Okay, I don't actually, the bottom of mine is 20 March 22. I don't see an 11 March 20, unless it's not the actual bottom.
It's at the top of the.
Chris name.
Yeah, man.
That shit, that was crazy, boy.
I was going through one call when I had them posted something and said, I said, one home. I told you that.
Yeah, that's why I got that on. Like, man, that shit, that just too crazy.
But that's a fool. Boy. I was like, damn, boy.
They need no more of this.
I don't know. I think he the one that got shot in the head. I don't. Like, everybody been said he had died first. Like, that's what they were saying at first. They were like, bro was in critical condition for a minute.
I heard him in the head.
Yeah, but Roger had got down told him what had to happen. He had them like, man, brother died too. So we turn on the video chat shit. But he Roger said he came from Summerhill, but Wakeway just said they got into it with when they was at Chit Chat, they got into it with them henchmen niggas.
Who nigga?
Man, look, I think them niggas whole lot of rent them folk, man. No, them folk make going back and forth, they gonna answer. Nah, not him, but like he little young nigga.
Oh yeah, I heard it like hits me shit.
Yeah, Quakeway say when B Slime they had the show. On B Slime, them got down, rushed to the car to get the file, some shit. They hadn't gotten to it.
Yeah. They crazy right now.
My cousin they called him so he told him to pull up. He got down, what happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up and got down, see what had going on.
So what had Cole come from the car?
Yeah, man, it went look cool, man.
Oh yeah, so I thought he was in traffic or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because everybody going to traffic. You like, I be telling that nigga they go to traffic. But I ain't even say that until last night, saying to put their clothes on. Okay?
I lose his mom up by 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like somebody got shot in the car. They ain't really showing that.
Yeah.
I get on Instagram about 6, 7, like 7, 8 or something. I'm like, damn, that's what it was.
Yeah. Man, I ain't know them folks blowing my phone up.
You know what I'm saying? Them folks were on. Them folks, they ain't seen none of the niggas in the car.
Nah,
Like,
man. It was them two, I think. I don't know. I ain't heard nothing, bro. I ain't called nobody.
Man, nigga running, man. What the hell on this nigga, man? They walk so back out fast.
I ain't talking about it with LB.
Oh, LB.
Yeah, you know he don't know.
Yeah. Well, LB just laying low.
Nah, he with his folk.
Okay. And the girl in charge is screaming, man. Call his phone, somebody say his number.
For real. Yeah.
Okay. And what the hell you been doing? You got hurt?
Man, I ain't got nothing, bro. No weed, no perk, no nothing. Tay finna got down, 21 nigga, he finna got down. He said he just called his folk, he wanted them to get back.
Okay. What the fuck you want for the week?
No, he just spoke out now 26.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't beat them right now.
Yeah.
Judge, this call was made on the day that the two persons who were YSL associates were killed, Mr. Ford and Mr. McMiller. It was after that. What we've heard is a call, as the court is aware, from Mr. Garlington's wiretap, where he is talking and apprising an associate, unindicted, unnamed co-conspirator, whom we believe is a person called Waskin Watt Wright, WRIGHT. We believe that he is a 30 Deep member. Nonetheless, regardless of who it is he's talking to, that person is an unindicted co-conspirator as well. In discussing what has just happened, they are alerting one another to something that has happened to one of theirs, and they are letting each other know what, for instance, Boom Boom and Big Slime did, in that they rushed to the car to get the fire. They had gotten into it. My cousin had told me he just pulled up. He know what happened. I'm fit to pull up, see what came up, come up. All of this precedes the Shamel Drinks murder. This is YSL associates getting one another informed so that YSL associates can take necessary steps, we believe, to avenge what has happened. And I said Big Slime. I think that that's B Slime. And because of all of that, we believe that this is a co-conspirator statement, which furthers the interest of the conspiracy, that is YSL, by allowing them to properly conduct themselves following the murder of 2 of their own associates.
Can I just ask for clarification on something? Okay, in Ms. Hilton's spreadsheet, it says time of statement 310 to 325. But then we just heard it. I'm just trying to know what the state's trying to admit. Is it that whole call? Is it just 310 to 325 and the whole call was played for context? I want to know what we're arguing over.
It's 27 seconds to 3 minutes. I said 325, but it was more like 338 seconds. It's not all the way at the end where they're talking about the perks, whales, and the
Okay. So I don't know if you have in front of you what Ms. Hilton had provided earlier. In her time of statement says 3 minutes, 10 seconds to 3 minutes, 25 seconds. So just for clarification, will y'all be intending to play the entirety of what you played just now, 27 seconds to 3, whatever it is?
Yes.
325. Okay.
Okay. This is why we have guardrails on trials. The state just leaned over to talk to each other about who this could possibly be. They don't know how to say his name. They think it could be this person. And then they confidently declare he's an unindicted co-conspirator. They don't even know his name. This gentleman, whomever it is that Mr. Garland is talking about, we've never received a list of unindicted co-conspirators. And it's just...
Okay, I suspect that's because if they knew their identity, they would be indicted co-conspirators.
That's cap. They know a lot of people's identity and they unindicted. That's cap. That's cap. I gotta call you out, Judge. I can't believe you just did that.
Do you know I know that there are some who they know the identity of, but do you know the identity of this person?
Not with certainty. That's just what, when we asked the question, like, who do you think that this is? Investigator Viverito said, I believe that is, and she gave us a name.
Okay.
She bad.
But there was not a further investigation on the recipients or the callers that were captured in these calls. It's the context of the calls themselves that allow us to designate the nature of the call.
Okay.
Well, okay. So that call, I don't know how anyone could determine that someone's an unindicted co-conspirator from it. The nature of that call, they're talking about past events. They're talking about gentlemen. It appears they're talking about gentlemen who were murdered earlier in that day. They're talking about past events. There's no, as far as I can tell, there's no planning. To the extent that they're saying, oh, well, it's co-conspirators keeping themselves apprised. I don't know how they can make that statement with such confidence without even knowing who the person is. And I'm aware, Your Honor, that the case law, that the declarant needs to be a co-conspirator, not necessarily the receiver. However, if you're going to make the argument it's to keep gang members or associates apprised, then yes, I believe that the receiver also needs to be part of the conspiracy. So I don't see how this furthers the conspiracy in any way. There doesn't seem to be a conspiracy. And I'll say one other thing that it's going to be a common thread throughout these arguments. The alleged facts of the Shamal Drinks murder. There's video camera, and there's video camera that puts my client and a car that he's in, and allegedly Demikian Garlington's in that car, although he's never seen on any sort of video. That's the state's allegation. In a separate car is what appears to be Mr. Nichols and Mr. Farley in a car, and I think they're alleging Mr. Boyer is also in that car. They're on video at the gas station. By happenstance, Mr. Drinks pulls up to that gas station after they're already there. Now, let me be very clear. Mr. Stillwell did not commit this crime. However, I will say that Mr. Drinks was shot within minutes of him showing up at the gas station where these gentlemen already were. So by even the state's theory, there's no conspiracy to kill Mr. Drinks. It's sheer happenstance. And by the state's theory, which we are saying is not true, the decision to kill Mr. Drinks would have occurred within minutes of the death.
Okay.
So there's not. So it's all based on happenstance, a chance encounter, according to the state's theory. There's no grand conspiracy.
The two aren't mutually exclusive in that there could be a conspiracy to kill people whenever you happen upon them. So, I mean, you can make that argument, but they can certainly make the counter argument.
Okay. In that case, if that is a conspiracy to kill people. And again, we're just kind of assuming that there's no evidence of that, but nothing in this call furthers any such conspiracy.
Well, honestly, it would have helped to have known what you said after the call, before the call, so that I know what I'm listening for. So I'm going to need to listen to the call again. Okay. And then let's do it the other way for the remaining calls.
Will do.
Thank you.
Also, there was, since hearing it, I'll tell you that you're going to hear in the call, one apprising the other that SB is laying low with his folks. There's that comment, but I'll play it again.
All right.
Of a few different events, really starting in February of 2022. On February 9th, 2022, Rayshawn Bennett, also known as Wycliffe Lucci, was stabbed in the Fulton County Jail by Jaden Myers, a YSL associate. Did not pass away, so believing that they wanted to finish the job, on February 22nd, 2022, another YSL associate, Christian Eppinger, reached out to another YSL associate, Antonio Summer, to get permission to finish off what Jaden Myrick did. That information about Mr. Bennett being stabbed in the jail in February hit the media sometime early March. I think maybe around March 3rd or March 4th is when that information was released. On March 11th, in the early morning hours, that is when Christian McMiller and Darius Ford were murdered. Pending that release, we believe that they were murdered by Wyatt and Associates.
But you insinuating that it took long for something to happen that was called from a gang. But you tell us that the gangs be telling each other right away. But you telling us that they had to wait till they seen something on the news before they retaliated. That's crazy. That's odd. But keep going. Be careful, lady. You debunking your own case. So YFN needs to wait for the news to get the information about their gang, but YSL communicates with each other to get information, you know, to make sure everything's straight and they know what's going on. They communicate immediately. You know what I mean? But she telling us that these dudes had to wait till they seen Lucci got hit up on the news. Ugh.
We have shell casings from the murder scene that match a shooting that happened on March 16th that I'll get to in a moment. After the shooting of Mr. Ford and Mr. McMiller in the early morning hours on March 11th, there was another shooting on March 12th in which a YSL associate, Stephen Harris, shot at in the direction of 12 Atlanta Avenue, which is a YFN stronghold, hitting a YFN associate. His name is. Following that, there is a call that the court will hear in a moment in which there's a shootout on Cleveland Avenue in which Demekion Garlington, I believe Mr. Stillwell, are involved in a shootout on Cleveland Avenue. Following that, in the morning hours of, I believe it's the 13th of March, it might be in the early morning hours of the 12th of March, there's a drive-by shooting near 2830 Waters Road. This is what we believe is the trap house of Big Nick, who is, I think it's Nicholas Carter, forgive me on the last name, but he is a YSL assistant. Following that shootout is when there's some social media postings, Your Honor, in which Shell Kel, who you've heard of, Kelvin Watts, reposts a picture with Shamel Drinks, Kelvin Watts, and another individual that could have had some subliminal messaging that they were the persons responsible for killing Christian McMiller and Darius Ford a few days earlier. Those posts were posted around between the 12th and the 14th. Also, there were some other social media posts from YSL associates basically claiming they are not going to be the only ones crying tonight, things of that nature. Then we had the murder of Shamel Drinks on March 14th at about 9:55 p.m. in the evening. And then following the murder of Shamel Drinks, we have on March 16th in the early morning hours around 12 o'clock a.m. another drive-by shooting at 2830 Waters Road, where you will hear some wiretap calls of Mr. Garlington, Mr. Stillwell, and Mr. Farley actually at the house during the time of the drive-by shooting, or immediately after the drive-by shooting. And then Mr. Stillwell and Mr. Nichols are apprehended on March. So understand that timeline. A number of these early wiretap calls are going to come into that time period when all those events are happening.
All right. So look, y'all, some back and forth. So what they trying to do is they trying to say, since Donovan Thomas got smoked, these murders are linked to all the way back to 2015. So in 2022, the back and forth is still going on. It actually heats up and gets real dynamic, right? So what they want us to believe is the two dudes from YSL get smoked. One of the dudes, well, both of the dudes is allegedly close to Young Thug, and they like been around YSL for a minute. They not in on the front line, but they visible. We went over it before, right? So these two dudes get smoked on the highway in the car, right? So what they alleging is Shell Kells takes accountability for it on social media and posts a picture with Shamel Drinks in there. All right. Immediately after that, Shamel Drinks gets smoked. All right. They saying somebody else got hit in between. That I don't know about that part. I'm gonna do my research on that. But look, hold up. Within like 2 to 3 days, Thug baby moms get smoked at the goddamn bowling alley, y'all. And the original charges on the bowling alley charge was gang charge, homie, but the dudes wound up beating it on self-defense. But the dude had possession of a firearm by a felon, which should have negated the self-defense. Straight up. So they allege that the dudes who did it is in a gang because in the original charges, there's gang charges on Thug baby mother homie. So pay attention. This little time period I've been warned y'all about. I say, yo, they skipping from Donovan Thomas and they gonna try to go all the way to the Shamel Drinks and put it all the way together. Only homie in between is the one with Lil Rod. But technically that ain't, I think you could debunk that from even being a part of this whole RICO in reality. That's like a side thing. They trying to say that was a part of it, but I think they reached. All right. So if you get rid of the Lil Rod situation, then you don't have a pattern of homicides anyway, so it's not a RICO in technicality, right? There's no pattern of crimes without a crime being committed within, is it 5 years? I think it's 4. Might be 5. Don't quote me on that. But look, all right. So if you see the time period, and I want you to pay attention, it's harder to link Thug to these. Where is he? Did he call the shots on this? Or is this guy's taking it upon himself to do something and it just appears to be part of YSL, which has not been established as an official gang? So I just want to give y'all a reference to everything she just talking about. I've been spoke on this. This the only other homicides involved. They misled us at the beginning, making us believe it was a whole bunch of bodies. It's not. It's 3. YSL is being accused of 3 in total, which is a stark difference from what we was told at the beginning. But let's get back to it.
And then go further and go into the conspiracy. Thank you.
For a minute.
I heard you got hit in the head.
Yeah, Roger had and got and told him what happened to him. Yeah, then DM were like, man, brother died too. So we turn on the video chat shit. But he Roger said he came from Summer Hill, but Breakaway just said they got into it with when they was at Chit Chat, they got into it with them henchmen niggas.
Who niggas?
Man, I think them niggas whole lot right them folk, man. You know,
They
on phone they going back and forth, they gonna answer.
They all out right?
Nah, not him, but like his little young nigga.
Oh yeah, I heard it little hits me shit.
Yeah, Quavo say when B Slime they had the show. On B Slime them got.
Yo, something she didn't mention, bro. Quindarius Zachary brother got smoked, and I believe it's in 2022. Don't quote me on that, but remember that I said it. and they allege that he's one of the founding members of YSL before Thug. Pay attention. What they say his name was Quantavious?
Raced to the car to get the file, some shit. They hadn't gotten to it.
Yeah. They crazy right now.
My cousin just called him, so he know what. He told me to pull up. He got down. He know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up and got down, see what the hell going on.
So what had you all come from the car?
Yeah, man, it went a little cord, man.
Oh yeah, so I thought it was traffic or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought, cause everybody going to traffic. I be telling that nigga they go to traffic. But I ain't even say that to him last night. I told him to put his clothes on. Yeah.
And like somebody got shot in the car. They ain't really showing it.
Yeah.
I get on Instagram about 6, 7, like 7, 8 of them. Somebody, I'm like, damn, that was the war.
Yeah. Man, I ain't know no folks blowing the phone up.
Yeah, I said, them folks were on. Them folks, they ain't seen none of them niggas in the car.
Like, man, it was them two, I think. I don't know. I ain't heard nothing, bro. I ain't heard nobody.
Man, that nigga running, man. What the hell on this nigga, man? They walk so goddamn fast.
I ain't talking about it with LB.
Oh, LB.
Yeah, you know he don't know.
Yeah. Well, LB just laying low.
Nah, he with his folk.
Okay. And the girl in charge is screaming, man. Call his phone somebody. This ain't hitting on. Yeah.
For real. Yeah.
Okay. And what the hell you been doing? You got hurt?
Man, I ain't got nothing, bro. No weed, no perk, no nothing. Safe finna got down.
I just stopped it at the 3:45 mark.
All right. All right. Both of the speakers seem very familiar with who the people are, and it may not be. I'll give you. They don't seem to be plotting any retaliation in this call, but they do seem to be getting apprised of what's going on.
No, that's cat. That's hearsay, man.
It'd be an all-out war and things like
what?
that. So I'm gonna permit that under the co-conspirator exception.
No, you only know who that is.
On behalf of Mr. Nichols, I'm going to join in to each of these, and I may have something additional. I do want to say that for all of these, I don't know whether the state has established that there was a conspiracy that existed, which is the first element of any admission of 801D2E purported statements. And I think what I heard in this, although a lot more was played than was in the spreadsheet, and I understand that may have just been a mistake, but I heard a lot of I think and who is that? And it sounds like I got that on Instagram. So I want to have a continuing objection, and I'll object again when it's appropriate, to what's commonly referred to as nested hearsay, which is somebody saying what somebody else said. It's hearsay nested within hearsay. So
I call that triple hearsay.
I don't know whether, well, I don't agree, of course, with the court's ruling. I'll abide by it, but I think there's more to it than just they're telling them what's going on. I think they're telling them what they heard, what's on Instagram, and I want to make sure that this quay, somebody said quay, not qua, or qua, but quay, and I think the response was, who's that? And then they talked a little bit about that. That is not Mr. Nichols. And if there is any dispute about that, we can go into that further.
All right. Well, with regard to the nested hearsay objection, I don't think that what got posted on Instagram or anything like that might be nested. It's only hearsay if it's being offered for the truth, and that type is not, I think, being offered the truth. Is that correct, Ms. Love? It's being offered to show that they are trying to keep apprised of the latest that's going down between these rivaling factions. So overruled. And I mean, yeah, it certainly sounds like quay to me. And so if there's going to be any.
There's not going to be speculation unless someone decides he wants to tell who that is. There's not going to be any speculation about who quay is.
All right. Okay. Let's move to the next one. And then y'all give me kind of the rundown of what I need to be listening for and why you think it's admissible under a co-conspirator exception. before I listen to it.
In the counts themselves at the very back,
The judge about to go super gangster right here. She talking my type of lingo. Check this out.
count 60, Martinez Arnold, Diamante Kendricks, Jeffrey Williams charged with possession of cocaine. They're also charged with
It just possession of cocaine doesn't get anybody any money.
violation of count 59, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of codeine with the intent to distribute, count 58, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute. They are charged with gang activity, to wit, possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute, possession of codeine with the intent to distribute.
All right, and so this would be evidence simply of the pattern of racketeering activity by members of the alleged RICO enterprise.
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'll point out that these are different individuals, different types of drugs, and from absent the count the count involving Mr. Williams from 2022. Those other examples of drug-related overt acts are from approximately 9 years before this wiretap.
Wow.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, the counts, the substantive counts that you just referred to, they're all on May 9th, 2022. You should know that's the date that Mr. Williams was arrested. His home, his many homes actually in Atlanta and elsewhere, and law enforcement officers found several people who lived at that home. This was not a
I mean, I understand very clearly that the state's alleging this and the state's proving it as, yeah, I understand. People have drugs. They may be illegal, but people have drugs. People have parties. Sometimes people have a lot of drugs. And establishing that you've got a lot of drugs and establishing that you are intending to distribute those drugs to garner additional money for your alleged enterprise.
They two different things, baby cakes. You know how I go. Tell them you used to shop and cop and buy. Tell them you know how I shop, cop, and buy. Tell them. Tell them.
Two entirely different things. That'll be up to the jury to decide. They can offer their proof. I mean,
tell them.
That's not what I'm here to decide. I'm here to decide, is it admissible under the rules of evidence? So I hear what you're saying. You're gonna have to tell that to the jury. That's not up to me. All right. So I understand the.
Yeah, she know how to party.
So let's go ahead and hear the.
Yo, put a one in the chat if you know she know how to party. She like to party, don't she? She like to party. If you know, you know. She like to party.
Do we know who the female is?
Not have information definitively.
All right, go ahead.
Of one of our defendants'
What?
child.
Okay.
Why she here?
So in terms of the portion that we're playing, we're starting at 51 seconds. Zero, 51. I'm sorry, going to 51 seconds, starting at beginning of the call.
Baba. Shop, cop, and bop. Hey, yo, look at Yak looking like a doctor.
Hello.
Where are you going?
Damn.
Right here from the go. Everybody can go.
I know if you don't sit your spicy ass down, girl.
Cold, we got now. Huh?
Where the nigga with the purse?
Whoa.
Hey, this ain't even got
Oh,
no
nah, I ain't rocking with her. I do not. We can't go together. You can't say that like that and we mess with each other. What is that?
You don't got no more.
Yeah.
Yo.
We at the studio. You might go
I'm outside the studio.
Gee
We just
whiz.
going out there.
Right, that's why I said where you going. So you don't know nobody else that got some?
Everybody in the studio just asked song. They just bought them out.
And I stopped at 52 seconds, but it was just after he said they bought it out.
It gotta be thick.
Whether it proves it or not is yet to be determined, but I'll permit that under a co-conspirator exception to hearsay.
Yak over there like he ready to have a baby.
For the record, Your Honor, I'd also argue not only is this not part of any conspiracy, but also that Mr. Garlington informing someone that Mr. Stillwell is out of pills is not in furtherance of him selling pills.
No, but it might establish that it's something that he typically does.
No, hell no
I
it
understand
don't. Hell no it don't.
I understand why the state wants it in to show that my client's a drug dealer, which is why I want it out. But the hook for admissibility is that it's in furtherance of the conspiracy, as I understand the law of co-conspirator statements, and I don't believe it's in the furtherance of any.
It's the state's response to that.
That in asking for the pills, where are the pills, and in giving the information that the studio, they just bought him out. They are furthering the conspiracy by requesting more to be re-upped and getting information about where they are.
He just re-upped. You can't put ED on that.
In terms of their supply, this furthers the conspiracy, that aspect of the conspiracy where they sell or distribute narcotics to gain money, weapon, or other property through.
Cap. She just tried to throw property in. These boys don't own nada. Nathaniel.
Activity.
These boys don't own Nowinski.
Unlawful sale and distribution of drugs.
That's
wow.
Work for 801D. The declarant needs to be part of the conspiracy. Someone requesting pills from Mr. Garlington is not in any way, under any argument, cannot be part of any YSL conspiracy. A buyer and a seller are not part of the same conspiracy.
Ooh.
And so we have an unknown declarant who's seeking to buy pills, and the state is seeking to admit their statements as part of a conspiracy. And I don't believe that.
And we ain't got no drug test on the suspected drugs that he did sell that we don't have. Did we test it to see if it really was drugs? So how we gonna go on hypothetical sales of drugs he never got to say that he would have re-upped? We don't even know how many it was he sold to say it was an amount to say it was even sellable, because the judge just said, I mean, just because you got some drugs don't mean that you really trying to serve. You could have been ready to get high. Did he give them all away? I mean, we don't know how many that was. We don't know if he was intending to re-up. That might have been just a batch he had. He might have found them. Come on, what we doing with this hypothetical here?
That fits under the hearsay exception.
Your Honor, the conspiracy is not the interaction between those two people. The conspiracy is a broader conspiracy of the YSL enterprise and how they conduct their operations. So inasmuch as they sell and distribute narcotics to gain property and other activity.
What property?
The conversation wherein Mr. Garlington is attempting to gain more narcotics, or this young woman is asking where the perks at. She's trying to get narcotics from a YSL member, and Mr. Garlington.
Ma'am, do you have a script? Did y'all follow him to the spot where he bust the script, or y'all found his connect? Because you do know it ain't hard to track down pills. You do know where they come from, right? So, like, did you do any investigation into this drug operation that Stillwell was operating to prove that it was connected to YSL and it was in furtherance of this RICO in order for them to gain property and other illicit gains? Do you have this evidence?
Is saying that Shannon says, or SB says, he doesn't have any more, but everybody in the studio wants some. They just bought him out.
Do you got the wiretap where he called us connected to re-up? Surely you had the wiretap from when he called us connected re-up, right?
They are, if the court considers the Georgia Supreme Court's liberal standard applied to determining whether or not their statements in some way further the conspiracy, the statements can be construed to mean we're trying to re-up. I'm apprising you, this girl who is also, we would argue, an unindicted. She is in the sense that she is participating in the drug aspect of this larger.
Man, she an unindicted junkie from what she just said. She is, you better not say she an unindicted co-conspirator. No, she not. She is not. She can co-conspiring to get high. So now the fiend's included. Oh, man. If you sure you want to do this?
Conspiracy. She is participating in an effort to continue the sale or distribution of drugs within the YSL enterprise.
What?
Okay, so, I mean, I think it does show that Mr. Garlington is involved in, has knowledge of SB's supply chain, and when...
Supply chain? Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
When he has it and when he doesn't, and what has just happened, they've just been bought out. I'm going to permit it. Again, whether that's an ultimately successful and convincing argument is for the jury. You may.
And for the proposition that buyer and seller cannot be co-conspirators, it's Darville, Darville, the state, 289 Georgia 698 at 715. It's a 2011 case.
All right, but it doesn't appear that Mr. Garlington is a buyer or a seller right now. He seems to be kind of a middleman for communication. So,
what? You can't make that assumption from what you heard, Judge. That's not fair. So you're going to let them just throw this in here with paint it the way they want, and let's see if the jury go for it? Really? Without you saying, I don't know, this is a reach right here, and I don't want this to be presented in an improper way and mislead the jury. Like, I ain't even gonna lie, Judge, you.
if your argument is he's a buyer or a seller, and it can't be both the buyer and the seller, that's not who's having the conversation.
No, my argument was that the state's seeking to get in the words of this young lady who is clearly a buyer. And if we're saying that YSL is
yeah, shot. She clearly a buyer.
Is a set of sellers, conspiracy of sellers. She cannot be a conspirator with them, and that's an argument.
Okay. Well, I'm admitting his statements under the co-conspirator exception, and hers would just be to give context to what on earth he is talking about.
That's not right.
Yes.
I understand the court's ruling. In the record also show that you consider that this is spilling the beans, and it's not in furtherance of the conspiracy, because all it's doing is saying the person doesn't have something that does not further the conspiracy. It's not like going to rob someone to get drugs. So I just ask that the record show without waiving that issue.
All right. Thank you.
So all them rock stars was doing conspiracies, and the people that was getting high with them should have been in on the conspiracy. And so we need to go back and lock up a whole bunch of people.
I wasn't certain whether Mr. Steele was asking the court to find that, or if he was just saying that was their objection. I just wanted that clarity.
Well, I'm sure he would like for me to find that it wasn't in furtherance of the conspiracy. So yes, I do think he's asking that. He's objecting on that basis. Understood. To make the record clear. All right. What's the next one?
I don't like that.
The next call, page 40.
I don't like that one, y'all. That was a dirtbag move.
Mr. Stillwell speaking with
to try to vaguely paint these boys as being drug dealers to capitalize on a RICO. I don't like this, because that is not drug dealing, y'all. That is not drug dealing. Drug dealing got confidential informants, controlled buys, buy money, pictures of the buy money, pictures of the The informants, proceeds captured in drug raids, scales, baggies, dogs who sniff drug money, fingerprints on empty packaging of kilos. You understand? Seriously, what is this? This is trash. I do not like this part. For real, this judge should have said, yo, y'all, you sure you want to do all this with this drug? I ain't gonna lie, I read through. Y'all doing a little bit of reaching. Y'all know these boys is artists and they got money, and y'all know average people party. So a person with money gonna party a little bit more, and these amounts that I seen that y'all got these boys with technically don't even add up to the amount of people y'all caught them around. These boys be in studios with big groups of people. This is nothing. So this is not no sale. This a party pack at best.
Mr. Garlington.
I don't like it.
And what's this going to be about?
And in that particular call,
Okay, I mean, I think the summary provided by Ms. Hilton gives me enough context for this one. Okay. All right.
so we're going to go from the beginning of the call to 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's a 1 minute and 46-second call.
Salute, Daniel. All right. To the people that's thinking, all right, look, this is the part why I don't like it. All right, so things is being brought in not as proof of fact, but just to help a narrative get painted. So what the state is not being held to try to prove something right now. No. They being obligated to paint a picture of who someone is and see if the jury will go for it at the end. Law should not work like that. That's my opinion, y'all. With media and all of the misconceptions of, stereotypes and things like this, the state should not be able to use unproven evidence to paint a picture. That's dangerous. So that's similar to me going out and taking somebody that, all right, so let me give you a wild example. We accusing you of a homie, right? So I want to prove that you violent, right? But you ain't do it. But guess what I do? Go out and collect every example that I can find of you being aggressive. You ain't smoked nothing. No. I just got tons of social media pics. I got you at the shooting range. I got you wrestling, doing karate. I got you watching MMA. I got you, chilling with Hulk Hogan. I got all these, all this evidence that points towards you like to fight. You see this? I'm reaching. Whole trial painting this picture of he likes to fight. It's fake. You ain't beat about no smoke. You ain't smoked this person. But this narrative I done painted. And if this jury don't know no better, is they gonna go for it? I should not be allowed to do that, bro.
Yo,
Oh, yeah, you got going on.
you got
Everybody asked, we went and looked like soon. Everybody just said we went and looked for them on Old
okay.
I said nobody.
Yeah, I know. Well, how old are you at?
Leaving the room.
Leaving the room.
Shit, same old shit.
Same shit.
Same shit.
What's that? What you
Sometimes we gonna come pick me up. Shit, say what's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next line, be here on Rollo. I said, man, Rollo ain't getting no coat.
Yeah.
I tried that shit yesterday with a nigga on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stopped it at 1 minute and 14.
What allegedly Ms. Still was saying, but I couldn't find it. I don't know what the state's theory on how this advances a conspiracy. I can guess, but pronoun it doesn't make a lot of sense to fit their theory. So I don't, from the context, I don't see how that could be in furtherance of a conspiracy. That seems just like
it in.
talk, which we obviously aren't privy to the conversations that these gentlemen have offline, which would provide context and context that they have with each other. But that's my objection.
So, Your Honor, we believe this is a party opponent statement of Mr. Stillwell, but from the state's reading of this call, they're trying to do a drive-by.
What?
But they can't find the op.
Yo!
And
she better not let this in.
And then when one is asking what you're getting into and the other one says the same shit, essentially they are apprising one another of their efforts to shoot an opposition gang member.
And I don't know whether it says it or him, but
right.
Regardless, I mean, the whole context of it, you can tell that's exactly what they're talking about is what Ms. Love just offered, gonna admit it both as an admission by a party opponent and under the co-conspirator exception.
May we have a continuing objection to all these?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that just because I'm ruling against y'all aren't waiving your objection. Unless, and I still understand it, but do you mean you're now not going to voice objection to the rest of them? You're just going to assume that I...
No, I was talking about at trial with the jury when these are presented.
All right, next one.
The next one is page 61, March 12, 2022 call. The applicable portions are from the beginning to two minutes and 35 seconds. And in this call, well, we have the summary that's listed. The court needs more, I can get more.
No, go ahead and listen to it.
Bro, this lady crazy. She capping, yo.
What's funny? What you doing, son? Man, shit. Right on the east side. On the east side. What are you going to do? Man, shit. Chilling. Yeah. What the hell you got going, bro? You all right? Man, that's crazy, man. That's gay. Oh, God. Main reason why I've been standing in the house, man. Man, well, it is crazy, bro. They ain't looking even turning. Go around and there's something going on, bro. Man, what? I was chilling with my brother, boy. I ain't had to stop my brother, bro. I'm in the house, no. Yeah, man. You know, goddamn, I ain't got that going, you know, you need them, call away though. Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't do that. Like they told me, my brother was a little punk, I don't even know the name from the independent. Cool. We're done. But my mama took me and my brother in the car right now, nigga, we come with me nigga now trying to see what hell he said. Oh. That means you talking about little Dunn daughter? Nah, no. Oh, you talking about little Dunn? Yeah. Oh wait, you might be serving or something. No. We like that. All right. Yeah, no, good. You know what I'm saying? The whole, but I think the whole like telling him, like, you know, I stay. He's like, what you want to do? Like, what do you want to know me? Why you want to play like that? Man, what? Yeah, somebody called me and told me that shit. Like, I don't really fuck the whole. Like, me, who? Man, the whole who everybody just fucking with, man. What old friend? Oh, Waco. I don't know, huh? But I'm gonna have a little done about that. Yeah, I don't know tonight. What you want? Like, what you want to do back? Like, you see it with your own eyes. No, let me tell you, heard it. You know, you know the little shit with the him saying, she thinks that Shannon. And Bowman said, yeah, she thinks, like, they said, because she got like, I didn't want to play like that. Like, I know what all the drops did. Like, I know why all these drops did. So they were like, they heard. Yeah, they were like, they heard. And they were like, all right, so what you want to do like nigga did? Okay. Yeah, I don't even know you. Eliminate. And yeah, don't call it that name. I don't know the song. I'm going to take your call. Yeah, that don't know. I'm not here on the street, bro. Who the hell you going to have for you? I'm telling you. Man, be slow, man. Come on, man. Anybody that Tony Pro, so you know how to do it. Yeah. I don't think you caught it that. I know. I got you. Yeah.
If the court wants to hear from us first, I can. Okay. So, Judge, this call is one in which one is apprising the other of what's going on, letting him know. Mr. Garlington letting the other male know about things that may put them in danger. This person believes, one of the opposition members believe that Shannon and Pokey set her up. He's apprising the other male that he's talking to that this person is asserting they know where all the drops and the spots are, in keeping them, one another, co-conspirators, up to date on possible actions that might be harmful to the group. They are allowing each other to remain alert and ready for any action that may come as a result of what this person that they're talking about is doing.
Hear from anybody on the defense side?
Same objections, but I heard a lot of nested hearsay in this. There's speculation. There is, I heard it, they heard it. It's replete with nested hearsay, and we still don't have an identification of the person being called. So for all the reasons that we've said before, I think that this cannot be considered to be something that fits within the particular definition of 801D2E. And I just want to say that the courts have said, and I quote, "The proponent of the out-of-court statement is not entitled to a free pass. A judicial determination that a co-conspirator's statement tended to further the conspiracy must be supported by some plausible basis in the record. To that extent, the in furtherance requirement represents a real limitation on the admissibility of co-conspirator statements." Here, half of the conversation is by an unknown declarant. Do not know whether or not that person is part of this alleged conspiracy, or even a non-noticed and never noticed alleged co-conspirator. We asked for a list of co-conspirators in November of 2000 or December of 2023. We've never been provided that. And all of a sudden we get into these hearings, and everybody in the world, the guy at the gas station, the guy in the corner, Hillary Clinton, they're unindicted co-conspirators. And we find that out when we're sitting here arguing about it. So this is a distinct example of speculation by an unknown declarant.
And I'll add, Your Honor, that, and maybe I'm the only one, but listen to that. I understand that there seems to be general criminality maybe discussed, but as far as distinct, what they're talking about and distinct crimes, I'm a little lost when I listen to that. So I don't know how, if we don't even really know distinctly what they're talking about, I don't know how we could deem their subject matter part of a distinct conspiracy.
They were.
All right, y'all. So these wiretaps gonna wind up being heavy. So Demeke and Garlington's phone was tapped. Now he also, I believe, folded at some point, but I don't know if he gonna testify. So that's the interesting part, whether or not Demeke and Garlington are gonna testify straight up. So it's getting sticky, y'all. This part of the trial is gonna be a little bit wild because they skip to the end. I told y'all, but it don't connect the thug, but through relationship. Like they gotta try to prove, oh, this got done because these people know Thug, and it's all linked back to the beef that transpired. You feel me? So they gonna do a whole bunch of reaching to try to link it to Thug, just to let y'all know. But it's bad. It's not, this part ain't good because it's gonna get a little bit incriminating because of these wiretaps and the evidence they got. But keep in mind, Sharp said overall he can prove that Stillwell didn't do the Chamel Drinks joint. So that's the one that really count. Straight up. Straight up.
Yes, Your Honor. I think that the context of this call makes it clear that they are apprising and warning of possible harmful actions by an opposition. Apprised of possible harm at the hands of opposition is an act that furthers the interest YSL enterprise that is YSL members out of harm's way from being harmed. That type of sharing of information furthers their interest in the opposition doing and
Miss Love is reaching by saying all of these conversations are them putting each other D with what's going on between the different gangs and the beef so they can be on top. And that's part of the furtherance, informing each other. She reaching because they lingo and their conversations is real vague. So I'm going to have to say she reaching right now with that, y'all. Straight up.
Bring it with me, Colin.
I told you, don't bring it yet, bro.
All right.
Is there more to that conversation, or that's just all we have?
that's all that there is to that call. But we have other calls.
Oh my God.
During this time, and Ms. Hilton sort of gave the court the timeline, the reason that we believe that this call is referring to a gun. They're not wanting to say gun, and they are obviously arming themselves for what they believe is about to happen as a result of the fact.
Bro, if she allowed this, bro, freedom of speech is dead. If she allowed this, freedom of speech is dead. You might as well just throw the phone away. Yup. If she allowed this, bro, throw the phone away. Straight up, bro. This might be the furthest reach ever, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. This is crazy right here, bro. Bro. No. This need to be taken to Supreme Court right here. This debate right here. That right there. Hold on, let me rewind it. Let me make sure, y'all. Hold. Let me get it back. Hold up.
Bring it with me, Colin.
Come outside, bro.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bring it with me, Colin.
I told you, don't bring it.
Whatchamacallit? That's what we doing. Whatchamacallit? Wow.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
Is there more to that conversation, or that's
Come on. Is it more to it?
all we have?
That's all that there is to that call. But we have other calls during this time, and Ms. Hilton sort of gave the court the timeline, the reason that we believe that this call is referring to a gun. They're not wanting.
Yo, leave a comment if you think that you can prove without a reasonable doubt that they talking about a strap right there. And if that should be used as evidence. And what you think about your phone calls. And you gonna talk different? I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, man.
To say gun, and they are obviously arming themselves for what they believe is about to happen as a result of the fact that two of their associates have just been gunned down.
All right.
They're obviously doing this, obviously doing that. And I understand, things are for the jury to determine. But my point, Your Honor, the danger of this is everyone sounds suspect when they're...
Thanks, Shart. Thank you. Thanks.
On a wiretap.
Thank you. Thanks. That's the best way to put it right there. This man is a genius.
I mean, that's... When you hear a wiretap conversation, it sounds suspect. And the reality is, later on in this, we're going to hear some more calls. And Mr. Stillwell talks about bringing things out wrapped in a towel.
Yo, he right. You listening to a recorded conversation is suspect off top. Yo, you're eavesdropping naturally. So you already know what time it is. The only time you listening is if it's been recorded. You know if it's been recorded is for what? Why are we listening? All right, it's right. Something right happened. It's a recorded phone call, bro. So you already on alert. Straight up. Good point, Shart.
Bringing things out, make sure it's white. And here's the thing. We litigated some things earlier. Mr. Stillwell was arrested in the middle of a sacrifice of a goat. And the backstory behind that is...
How did somebody catch them in the middle of sacrificing a goat, y'all? Who told? It's no way the stars lined up. Y'all like, yeah, yo, you got to go. He like, yeah, come on, let's get this done. And the law pull up like, whoop. Ain't no way. If that's the case, you supposed to go to the clink. Do y'all think they got it done? Was the goat still alive? Did the law save the goat? And who the hell is these law if they be popping up to save goats? Ooh. What you know about them goats? Who seen that movie? Don't they got men that stare at them? Ugh.
Is DeFi religion and different practices involving that. We suppressed that information. There's in this, and I don't think I should have to argue this to the jury and bring up religion, but the reality is there's multiple.
Yo, if you know something about this religion, he's saying, don't leave no comments. Send me an email. Yeah, I want to have a conversation about it. Matter of fact.
References of bringing things in towels. And as part of that religion, there's a thing called elekes. Elekes. And they're the beads. And they're not to be brought outside unless wrapped in a towel, and preferably a white towel. They're supposed to be wrapped, not exposed to the element or outside. So there are alternative explanations for a lot of these things, and it's just bare speculation by the state. And to refute that, I don't really want to get into my client's religion and all of that. And I guess I will if I have to, but there was a reason that was off limits. And if we're just forcing me to present all that just based on bare suspicion by them and speculation, I don't think that's appropriate. I think we have to demand that they have some actual evidence of this is what they're talking about, and it furthers the conspiracy, not, we think this is what they could be talking about. And that's my concern.
Okay, and it seems to me that the timeline that they provided is enough of the evidence to suffice. It's not in a vacuum.
And Your Honor, I would also say that we are pulling calls in an effort not to play all of the calls, because if anybody sat there and listened to them in session, it would be clearer than it appears at this moment what they're talking about, and anyone would be able to distinguish when they're talking about their ethos religion versus pulling out a strap or bringing a gun to go shoot someone and drive by. So we're pulling these calls.
But if they don't openly say that, is it safe to say that your translation was off, especially if you aren't a professional of translating their conversation? So if we don't have a translator here, can we confirm what they're really talking about, or we're guessing? And is that proper for a court case in a courtroom under oath? So are you putting your job on the line that your translation was proper and you would like to prosecute on the strength of it? Or you willing to say that with reasonable doubt, you might not have been right about your translation and you might be improper for using this as evidence?
To limit the number of calls and evidence that were presented to the jury to make the trial more efficient. But the way that I'm hearing it, the only way that you know it to the satisfaction being a certain
key word, the way she hearing it. And she's not a professional of translating this type of lingo. Now we getting into not just gang lyric lingo. We getting into religious terms of a religion she's not familiar with. What we doing?
By counsel is that we play every one of the calls so you can see what it is exactly that they are and are not talking about, but we don't believe that is necessary.
Okay, well, I mean, y'all try your case the way you see fit to try it.
What?
I'm going to admit this over objection.
I don't like that. Man.
Oh, sorry, we were going to take a restroom break.
Man,
yeah,
she admitted that. I can't believe she admitted that. This is nuts.
Bro, if you say about man for real,
man, on DB on Saturday here, bro. That why I just had to bring it, bro.
That's why I said I ain't called you. Dad said, do you okay? I said, I text, I ain't want to call him. He said, yeah, he answered, I called.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That shit got me hurt, bro. I fucked bro.
Yeah, that shit fucked me up. I know dude said I did.
Yeah, man.
Damn, dude, probably little shit too.
I know it, bro. Man.
That shit crazy. That's why I said they had like 45 gun shells out there.
Huh? 45 gun shells?
Yeah.
Just know, Cash, we don't get skip back. We have to get.
D, you better show that down somewhere.
I am, but still, bro. I am gonna sit down and listen. I'm gonna sit down, bro.
When you better show that down somewhere,
I am, but bro, nigga think this shit a game. You out here playing. For real, bro. Like, I already going through some shit before that. Like, it like, all type of trying. I got fun on my head, bro. Like, when I still just be going places, you see, I don't be worried about shit like that. I be prepared for shit. If a nigga pay with me, they know this shit ain't gonna be easy.
Oh, man.
I just got to do a shootout early.
Why the fuck you get to a shootout, D?
Because it was a car looking strange. And don't say nothing, me, Shannon, all that gunna.
Why would you? Oh my god.
Because the car, they were 3 deep with hoods on, so I had to shoot it. I don't know. The day, it was the day on Cleveland. It was a car I know it, huh? Yeah, you do.
They you need to
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That had to make sorry. That had to sorry for people. Yeah, I would know. Mm-hmm. Hey, what's going up at 131? Yeah, I just talked to phone. I thought I could talk. He just said, you know what we on every day. Hello? What's going up at 131, bro?
I was asleep. They woke me up and said you were dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna text you. I'm trying to fuck. I'm in the car, all right?
Alright, you said love you.
All right, love you too. If you want to tell me that, you're going on block. You heard me?
Okay.
All right.
So, Judge, this one we believe comes in a couple of different ways. Obviously, it's a statement against that Mr. Darlington has got him and STILLWELL.
Yeah, how shit was like, man? What the movie?
I wasn't get one. No, sis, I wasn't get one, but my mind ain't there yet. I'm really on the phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody said what the movie.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wait.
Yeah. I said, I ain't, yeah, bro. I just tell you, but I ain't made no money in about 2-3 days. Nigga ain't.
You too?
For real, bro. Nigga ain't, nigga, man ain't done.
I told you, I've been leaving my drugs now, bro. I ain't said shit.
Yeah. I ain't even got down. I still left that, bro. What you got going on?
You know where I'm at, bro?
Man, that's man.
What?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm at. Oh, right here. I just be right here.
Yeah.
Wayne. And, you know, man, that time I got on.
Yeah. Got to, bro.
Yeah, you got them, get with me, you know where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay, but, I got some whole,
What's causing, right, they on the way clear. You need to go on and try to come to you and get up out of me. Man.
You say get off you?
I ain't saying I don't fuck with it, but like just make it come to you and get you and tell them to bring you.
What you saying?
I smacked that shit now for shit.
You did?
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't win, bro.
What you mean? When I told you to get me up out of it?
This call is a call between Young Darlington and defendant STILLWELL. and they are discussing their ability to sell narcotics, apprising one another of their narcotics. And defendant Stillwell said, "You know where I am. I'm just waiting," as they are trying to get themselves resituated.
Well, I will start out by, and I misspoke earlier. I think Your Honor realizes that Mr. Stillwell is charged with, well, he already pled to it. It's a 2013 possession with intent marijuana, which is one overt act as part of count one. Okay, after 2013, to my recollection, there's no other allegations of Mr. Stillwell selling drugs in furtherance of YSL. In addition, we have heard absolutely no evidence, and I don't anticipate hearing any evidence that there's any sort of profit sharing or anything else involved in drug distribution. We've heard about Durante Beebe selling drugs at a gas station. There was no indication that any of that money. Mr. Trontavia Stephen talked about his sale of drugs. He actually testified, and we asked him, and he was like, "No, it was worth like $150. I'm not giving it to anyone. I was selling drugs." I acknowledge that it actually appears that they're talking about drugs and not selling drugs for the time being. But so that's not really furthering any conspiracy. But there's to say that just because they put in their indictment in count one an allegation of drug dealing furthering the YSL does not, in my estimation, open the door to any discussions of any individuals on trial selling drugs to pad their own individual pockets. There's nothing that supports the argument that this is some sort of vast conspiracy as alleged in the indictment. So to me, we're just end-arounding how to get in bad character evidence about Mr. Stillwell, about talking about drugs with Mr. Garlington. And so I don't believe it's part of any conspiracy. I don't believe it's in furtherance of any conspiracy. And I don't believe it's relevant, and it is prejudicial. And so 401, 403, and hearsay are my objections.
All right. I don't hear how any of what gets said in this particular conversation can be in furtherance of a conspiracy. So I'm going to exclude this.
Yes, Your Honor.
I promise. It's hard to tell which way she gonna go. She every which way but loose. Leave a comment on what you think about her decision making and whether or not you understand her flavor. I ain't even gonna lie. It's hard to put a name on her flavor right now. I mean, she kind of cool ranch, but like on another note, she traditional, cheesy. You heard? It's crazy.
And Judge, just so that I want to give a little bit more context to calls similar to this with the drugs.
Okay.
In this wiretap, where there are, as they described accurately, about 60,000 pages of calls, there are more calls, 6,000, there are more calls on this wiretap discussing the sale, the distribution of narcotics than we have time to ever listen to during the course of this trial. So the idea that the calls between YSL members are isolated incidents that should not be furtherance of a conspiracy is belied by that very real fact that we could show if we sat here and just listened to all of the calls where they're talking about re-upping, selling, running out,
Yo,
who
she
to
did
get
it
from,
again.
where to go get it.
Yo, she trying to be cool. You can't put ing on re-up. She put ed on it first. Now she put ing. I really am an expert in the term re-up. You can't do I re-upped. Re-upping. You can't do that. She disrespectful to it too.
So I just wanted to make certain we're not trying to revisit what the court's ruling just was, but I want to make certain.
No, I don't hear anything in this call about where to get it from or re-upping or anything like that. I just hear them going, yeah, man, I'm not selling any. I'm not either.
Yup. I ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Judge, I respect your lack of concern with this part right here. Let's keep it moving.
Yes, Your Honor.
There may be another one that might meet the requirements, but this one doesn't.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
He turned into a jalapeno Dorito right
so
there.
These calls as well, Your Honor, that are coming up are party opponent admissions because they are talking about right before they go to gas station.
Okay. Which ones are we talking about now?
That are coming. Ones that are coming up next is
Okay.
on page 333.
Oh, page number was unfortunately what I cut off of this, so I know we don't want to be going by reference numbers, but
She real reachy right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
if you can give me a date and time, that's fine too.
Reference number is 326.
Okay.
And the date is March 14th,
All right, I got it.
2022.
9:56 and then 9:59 after that.
Yes.
All right.
Yo, after people hear these wiretaps, y'all think these wiretaps gonna change people? The jail calls make you sound like, I mean, them boys dumb. They talking on jail calls. That's one thing. What about these wiretaps? Y'all think this gonna make the streets tighten up? Because it's ready to go viral. These is not jail calls. These is cell phone to cell phone. They do not know the laws listening calls. About some petty dudes. They ain't even banging like that. Straight up. Normally, this don't even happen at this scale. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even know if I ever heard of a rinky-dink level of dudes getting a wiretap. It's the pettiest wiretap I think I might ever heard. Real rap. I swear to God.
Is there any evidence that they have any reason to believe Mr. Drinks is going to be at this gas station?
Yes. When you mean that before they get to the gas station, I think seeing him at the gas station is happenstance. They see him at the gas station.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So I mean, I'm wondering, maybe there's something more going on here, but if they're just talking about meeting up.
Please don't.
I don't believe, we don't have any evidence to show that they knew prior to going to the gas.
Okay.
He was at the gas station.
Okay.
We think that part was happening.
All right. Well, I'll just have to listen to what the content of this call is to see whether this might be. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all are saying this one's a party opponent. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Scratch what I said. Go ahead.
But we do think that they were on the prowl because Mr. Stillwell earlier that morning on March 14th had rented a car from Alamo at the airport and then went and got the car tinted.
Okay.
Tint the windows, not because you're going to slide, so nobody else can't slide on you. So, Judge, don't allow that. Nah, she reaching right now.
So we do think they were on the prowl, but not that they knew that Mr.
Okay, all right.
Yo, she was in a rush, bro, at her boyfriend's house, so she just grabbed the curtains. They curtains. Yeah, the fancy ones with the crinkles in them. Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
He lived with his grandmother.
There's a lot of we believe, and I have little faith in those assertions. In fact, I know those assertions to be incorrect. So
you said there's video from the gas station, right? And does the video from the gas station show who's in what car?
We know for sure that we see Mr. Jackson in the two cars, Your Honor, is an Audi and a Ford Fusion, a white Ford Fusion, a white Audi. We do know that Mr. Jackson gets out of the Audi.
Who's Mr. Stillwell?
Mr. Stillwell, excuse me. And then we know that Mr. Nichols gets out the Ford Fusion, and that Ford Fusion is actually his wife's car.
Okay, and do you know, are those the only two people that the video shows getting out, or that you can see in any of the cars?
And one other person, Miles Farley, we know that he gets out of the car with Mr. Nichols.
Okay, so he's in the Fusion.
He's in the Fusion. Do not see Mr. Garland. He does not get out the car at the gas, nor do we see Mr. Boyer. He does.
Okay, but your theory is that Garlington and Boyer are also in the Audi?
No, Garlington's in the Audi. Boyer is in the Ford Fusion.
Sorry. And you maintain that you can hear Mr. Stillwell at the back, responding in the call?
Yes, Your Honor, in the background, yes. It's faint, but you hear him.
What?
Yes, Your Honor.
Faint.
Hello? You know where it's at? He said, Danny Glove? Yeah. Yeah, but like, we won't get up there with the tell. I'm saying, we can get out the edge literally right now. He just said that. I'm telling you, I promise you, get out the edge right now. We stay right here. All right, yeah, come on, bro. Tell Shane don't be mad at me, bro. We can down. We can down. Is that easy? Nah, I'm my mama trying to do so we get out the edge right now, man. All right.
Somebody says something.
Well, what I hear is this. I hear Mr. Garlington speaking to someone, and them trying to explain to each other where they are. My understanding from what the state's saying is this conversation occurs before, well, from the context of the call, before either car, or at least the car that Mr. Nichols is in, according to the state's theory, arrives at the gas station, which means this is before Shamal Drinks arrives at the gas station, which means there's nothing, according to the state's theory, nothing immediately criminal afoot. And they're just talking about getting up, and the person alleged to be in the car with Mr. Garlington is Mr. Stillwell. And, I can't really hear what was said in the background, but the context of what was repeated is Mr. Garlington saying, Mr. Stillwell's sick of waiting on you in a friendly way, and hurry up, and then saying, Shannon said, y'all are going to bam, meaning y'all are going to fight when he gets here because you're holding us up, and then them laughing about it. So I don't know what's criminal about any of that, or what's furthering any criminal conspiracy, especially since under the state's theory, Shamal Drinks hasn't even arrived at the gas station.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything further in any conspiracy here except a conspiracy to meet up at the gas station.
Wow.
So this would not be in under that exception for sure.
And
Okay.
I also point out, Judge, that it shows the coordination between the two sets of the called and the calling party, and the coordination. So even if you don't take what they're saying as true, the call itself is evidence of coordinated efforts and communication right leading up to the Shamal Drinks murder.
Okay,
So
but y'all are saying it was
purposes.
entirely just luck or bad luck for Mr. Drinks that they happened to find him here. So while there may have been a plan afoot to, when we see the enemy, we kill them, unless you've got evidence that this was, all right, we're getting together to go send out and start looking so that we can act on our plan, then this cannot come in under co-conspirator. It may come in under something else. But are you making that argument that this should come in
No,
under?
that's the opposite of the one I was making. What I was saying is that it has a non-hearsay purpose, and that the non-hearsay purpose was that it shows the coordination and communication between people that we've alleged committed the murder, even outside of the fact, even if you don't take as true anything that they're saying. So not even trying to take the truth of what they're saying, the fact that they are communicating with one. And then the other was that we were saying the statement of a party opponent, that Mr. Stillwell was one of the people that was communicating.
Well, I mean, we can't hear what any of those communications are. So I don't hear anything coming in as a statement by Mr. Stillwell here.
If Your Honor could allow us one more comment on that.
No, I was just going to say, Your Honor, we agree. We don't think it's a co-conspirator statement, but it is evidence of the events leading up to the murder of Chanel Drake. So we believe it can come in as we're not offering for the truth of the matter asserted that he was getting off the exit at the time that he says he's getting off the exit, but simply, like Ms. Love just said, to show they are the series of events that occur right before the murder. In communication to meet up at the gas station, you're going to see that they meet up at the gas station, and the call that's coming up next is when DeMarco Boyer calls Demekion Garlington and tells him, get on FaceTime. And we believe that is when the plan happens to kill Chanel.
Right. So does the video show the Audi's already there and then the Fusion pulls up?
Yes, but it doesn't, again, because of the video, we are not aware of DeMarco Boyer being in the car prior to seeing the video, nor do we see him afterwards. We just hear these phone calls between this individual.
All right, well, I'm not talking about the next call yet. I'm talking about this call and trying to figure out why we need this call at all.
It's part important, y'all pay attention.
Coming from wherever they're coming together, we believe that they were either near each other or had planned to meet up prior to do whatever they're doing. And so it just shows a series of events. If we have to prove what happens before, during, and after the murder, this shows before the murder, they were in communication. It's not like they randomly met up at the gas station together. They literally planned these two cars, at least, to meet up at the gas station. They meet. They unfortunately see Mr. Drinks, and then the plan becomes afoot. But it's not like the Audi and the Ford Fusion randomly meet at the gas station. They have plans to meet at the gas station.
All right, well, if that's your purpose, I think you can narrow it down a little bit. We don't need to hear the whole conversation.
Your Honor, I also said that they have a call log that establishes that, and they actually had Mr. Burney, the cell phone analysis gentleman, plot this number in question that they're saying belongs to Mr. Boyer. They've plotted that. So they have a call log of who's calling who, show coordination. Okay. And they have the plot of where the phone was at times that it was used and who was calling who. So the coordination, they don't need the contents of the phone call to show coordination.
Yeah, but I would believe that the defense will argue, we don't know what they were meeting. We don't know what they're meeting up for, but now the jurors can hear.
We still don't know what they're meeting up for at this point in time.
But it's still just a series of events that lead up to the murder. These two cars and the individuals in these cars have some type of relationship.
If you want to use the little tiny part that's we're getting off the exit right now, fine. But we don't need all of it. I mean, it just...
And who's going to identify the voice? Because it's not Mr. Nichols on that call.
Got him.
Yeah, we'll lay the foundation as to the call and where it comes from on the wires.
Well, if I'm admitting it as an admission by a party opponent, then it needs to be one of these people on trial right now. So if you can't establish that it's Mr. Nichols, that's problematic.
We will...
Stolen.
Well,
if I'm offering it to show that they were, not that they were getting off the gas at the gas, and that's the hearsay, that we would need to, what we're saying is they were meeting up they were on their way to the gas station, not that we're getting off right now, that would be offering for the truth of the matter asserted, which would be the hearsay.
Which would need an exception.
Which would need an exception. That's not what we're offering.
Okay, but if we have no idea who's on the call, then it's not relevant.
But we do know from the phone number that it's the Marco Boyer's phone. We know that he's talking to the young girl.
You know what? Let's just use what's already in for that.
Heisman.
Heisman. That's really the wrong word.
She goes down.
It appears that you all have what you need, and considering the other issues surrounding this one, I am gonna sustain the various objections. I'm not gonna admit this.
Thank you,
Your Honor. And Judge, the next one that we have is omitted from the yellow sheet that the court is looking at.
Okay.
But it's going to be PDF page 351, March 14, 2022 at 10:50 p.m. It's not, but Your Honor, as I stated, it's not on the yellow sheet. It is in the Dropbox.
Okay, yeah, the yellow sheet was something that got sent later that was just to guide us, but
what's the reference number?
It is the PDF page 351, reference number 345.
Dana, my baby.
Man, hello.
Hello.
Where you at, boy? Right here, see there?
Why they got killed in the interview? I was trying to see who it was.
For real?
Yeah.
I just seen Shakur post shit like that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm on time. What time we leave? I was just trying to see who you was.
All right.
Just 1 second. That was not. We're playing calls 330, page 333, and reference number 320.
no, yeah,
That's the one
no,
we just
it is.
talked about getting off the exit.
335, 335, 335, page 341.
Turn your mic on, small head, bald head.
Hey, what the hell y'all pulled up? Five on video, hurry up. 5 on video.
Timing of this one, y'all can establish the principles up.
Yes, this is right.
The conspirator, so.
They're super reaching at this point.
So, just so we're clear, though, that the state is asserting that because, like the last one, there was some question about the involved parties. The state is still asserting that is Mr. Garlington and Mr. Boyer.
Yes, we believe that's Mr. Boyer telling Mr. Garson.
All right.
That is Boyer's phone number called Darlington. And this is right after Chanel drinks. Look at the timestamp from the surveillance video to this call is after Mr. Jones is pulled out of. They are pulling out behind him.
What's silent. That's all right. Okay. All right. What's the next one?
Reference 350, page 357.
Yo,
All right, man. I just jumping over to man. And nigga don't be getting dropped off and then got no motherfucking ride to go back home to, man. It makes sense.
yeah.
Before you getting dropped off on a nigga ride, we niggas do groceries.
Yeah.
It's stupid as fuck. So, man, you need to be on the gun rail shop. Right here. I'm telling you.
We right here down here.
That one.
Ryan pad trying to see.
I'm finna go get it. I'm finna meet up with y'all. Go get a fill up.
Try to get it filled up. Right.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm listening.
Huh?
I said, alright, I'm listening. What's going on?
I said, I'm pulling out now. Yeah.
Get back, son. You say,
I was gonna jump in with y'all.
alright. That's what I'm saying. Kind of what you're doing.
I'm gonna pull up now.
Alright.
This call is made and is between Jamikian Garlington and one of the people who were in the car with Mr. Nichols, whom we believe to be Mr. Boyer, talking about having rolled back through the scene. The police were on the scene of the Chanel Drinks murder at.
I didn't hear all that.
You didn't hear it on the call, or you didn't hear what Ms. Love was saying?
I didn't hear it on the call.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay, this is them having, when they said we just rolled back through the scene, I'll play that again. It was at least that's what this.
And this is supposed to take place at like 2 a.m.
Yes.
1 o'clock on the
where,
dot.
like, what pinpoint to me where in this conversation? What second?
It's a minute-long call, so it's about.
Go ahead.
Yo.
All right, man. All kinds of shit, man. I just jumping over to, man. That nigga don't be getting dropped off and then got no motherfucking ride to go back home to, man. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Before you getting dropped off on a nigga ride, we niggas do groceries.
Yeah.
It's stupid as fuck. So, man, you need to be on the gun rail shop. Right here. I'm telling you.
We right here down here.
That one.
Ryan pad trying to see.
Okay, so it's right there at 31 seconds, and the phone records, when he said right here, Ryan passed the scene, their phone records put them at the scene at that time.
So right here, riding past.
We don't believe that's
Trying
what
to
he.
see
That's
Ryan
not.
passed, trying to see at the scene.
Let me hear
But
that.
she keeps saying scene, and no one says
Okay,
scene.
let me hear it again.
Trying to see.
And Judge, I want to make
He
clear,
said
like
trying
the
to
court is
see.
the court can judge whatever is being said.
Riding
Whatever it is
past
you're
trying
riding
to. He
past
said
to see
right here, riding past trying to see.
or the scene. Their phone records place them at the scene of the Chanel Drinks murder at the time that the call is made.
But Your Honor, this is the problem. The state keeps asserting things as fact. He said through the scene, and now I'm just pushing back moderately, and now it's like, well, we don't really know what was said. And Your Honor needs to know what was said to be able to judge it. And if the state doesn't know, they shouldn't be asserting as fact. This person said riding past the scene if they don't know that's what's said. And My belief, and I'm not.
They doing it intentionally, Short, and that's been my argument. And the judge has been allowing them to throw this in front of the jury. Just whatever they expect can stick with multiple motives, though. See, they not even trying to stick inside of a one narrative. No, they taking all and throwing in front of the jury. I swear to God, on the strength of underneath of a RICO, you don't have to prove guilt. You need to just throw a story up and see if the jury will go for it.
Going to assert it as fact, but what I'm telling the court is after listening to that numerous times on my own and several times in court now, I'm not hearing C, and I don't think anyone else is.
I don't know. We hear it again.
I'm gonna meet up with y'all. I'm gonna get a fill up.
I get fill up for fight, right? Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Alright, get down there.
Y'all what?
Ride past around the seat. Yeah.
Riding past trying to see.
Trying to see.
You know the gun here, so.
Yo, she grew up picking tobacco, bro. She understand Southern vernacular. So, like, her trying to play, that's intentional. And I told y'all, if somebody done practiced something for so long, when do you hold them accountable for their mistake that happens to be weaponized? We went over this last night. I told y'all, that's like LeBron traveling. The boy played basketball majority of his life. He really will travel? Or do he know he traveling? We could hold him to that. Boy, know he traveling. I'm telling you. I ain't held a basketball in my life. It's automatic for you not to travel once you learn how to dribble. I'm telling you, y'all, your whole body mechanics won't allow you to dribble. All your rhythm is built on, you can't get it from me. Boom. Look, you feel me? Like, so when someone does travel, an experienced basketball player, they know they traveling. So she knows she cheating.
We're out here down there.
Y'all what?
Ride past around the seat.
I'm gonna meet up with y'all. I'm gonna get a fill up. Y'all what?
Ride past around the seat.
I'm gonna get.
Ride past around the seat.
Bro, I'm from all the way in Baltimore, bro. Riding past trying to see. What is we doing right now?
I'm gonna meet up with y'all. I'm gonna get a fill up.
I mean, I don't know what he's saying, but they're talking about, I mean, it's never is saying I need a ride, right?
A little
It's
context.
saying, no, not right there, but before then. And they're saying, why don't you ride with the person?
He's saying by the city? I go for that too. I thought he'd saying trying to see. Not the scene. I go for by the city. I go for that. I could go for that. By the city. I could go for that. I ain't getting seen.
Started out with. And they're trying to figure out where each other is, right?
He's asking where are you, and he said riding right here, riding past the scene, trying to see.
Yo, she did it again. She did it again.
Either way you look at it, that the point at which he is saying that, yes, they are trying to apprise each other's location, and that person right there.
All right, let me use this moment to show y'all where this really counts. This counts when you don't have a good lawyer team. Dudes getting railroaded with this type of prosecution, bro. Let me tell y'all something. They say lawyers don't talk unless they paid, right? So if you got a cheap lawyer and you barely could afford it, is they gonna be able to chop all this up? Shorty right here is forcing some evidence right here. What is the average Georgia young male 16 to 24 supposed to do if he is indigent and can't afford a proper attorney? Yo, he gone, cuz. You see this? So y'all can look at it like, oh, they trying to frame thug. Bro, they is nailing regular guys with this type of stuff. Nailing them. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
Saying that he is riding past, his phone puts him at the place where Shamel Drinks was murdered at that moment.
I'm hearing, and I think everyone else is hearing over here, riding past around the city. Okay? Around the city. And
maybe he is saying around the city if they've got something.
I don't believe, well, they just said,
It honestly doesn't matter whether he's saying riding around the city or riding past the scene when what they're trying to do is communicate with each other about what's going down between them right after they have allegedly shot and killed somebody.
well, it's
What you mean it don't matter? So you saying you're just gonna go off of you're going off of their assumption and you're saying the semantics of what they said don't matter. Any of it is in relation to them going to the scene of a crime. That's what you're doing with that? This is despicable.
4 hours after Mr. Drinks was shot. The context of all this meeting up is to go to the studio. That's the part that the state's not playing. They're all going to a music studio. And so I hear who they're saying is Mr. Boyer, fussing at, it seems that someone should have gotten a ride with someone else, and he's fussing with that, and he's asking, where you at now? And he says, riding around the city. There's nothing conspiratorial or anything else about that. But my bigger concern is we just have this.
My bigger concern, excuse me, Shout, I hate to cut you off. But yo, to the people in the chat, I want to let y'all know, y'all might as well just take y'all son's phones and just throw them. Every time you see them. Like, even if you get a new one, throw it. Stomp on one, throw it. Like, get the pattern rolling so he just know. Yo, my peoples don't want me to have no phone. Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Yo, you should have seen what my father did to my phone the other day, bro. He put that joint on the microwave, threw the whole microwave down the hill, rolled over it with his truck, bro. I don't know I ain't even know what he was doing. I just woke up, I'm eating cereal, bro. He came, took the phone, put it in the microwave. Microwave catch on fire. He throw the microwave down the hill. I'm like, yo, what is going on? My little brother laughing. Oh, yo, straight up, cause yo, this right here, I don't understand. I don't think y'all understand, bro. They basically, yo, your seed could get swept from you from just being on one of these horns talking regular, and Holmes is indicted next. I'm telling you, bro, y'all better pay attention.
Situation where, like, if Mr. Garlington really said, I'm riding around past the scene, that would be some damning evidence. So we just shouldn't be throwing that out without knowing that's what's said.
All right. Well, I'm not going to let them hand the jury a transcript of this call that says that, because I don't think, it's up for debate what it says. I don't think, y'all don't agree. I don't agree. Who knows what it says?
What we doing?
But, it could very well be a part of a conspiracy, and they could be meeting up at the studio to figure out what it is that they're going to do next.
Don't do that.
That's not for me to determine. That is part of their theory. They can present this evidence in support of that theory, whether the jury...
I'm mad. I'm sorry. I'm mad as hell. I'm mad. I'm sorry.
Buys it or not will be up to the jury. But it is this I'm going to admit. Do we have lunches yet?
What?
Yes? Okay, let's take a lunch break.
Bro. Yo. So here we have it, yo. In the Young Thug trial today, they're going over wiretaps. The wiretaps are starting to be odd, and they're going to be important on the way they play out in front of the jury, right? Because the jury's going to have to make a decision on whether or not they believe the wiretaps fit the narrative that the state is presenting. Now, they didn't had to put together the pieces over a long period of time. So taking in context that when it's time for them to make their decision, they got to put all this information together. Do you think At this point, they're being persuaded to believe these dudes are really criminals. How you think it feel? Or they still leaning towards they don't see the RICO, they don't see guilt, they don't see the gang connection, they don't see furtherance, they don't see structure, they don't see gain, pattern. You see that? These wiretaps can be pretty dangerous. It seems to be they got Demeke and Garlington on a lot of wiretaps, but they also said they got a whole bunch of jail calls from Woody. That's interesting too. So we getting into this audio time period where it looked like they about to roll out a whole bunch of audio calls. We still got some interrogation to see, but they going through all the evidence that they gonna be presenting throughout the end of the trial. So they going forward right now. So like they kind of we saying what they gonna do. Now I've been spoke on this. I spoke on this part of the trial where they get into the Chamel drinks, which is towards the end when they really press the line. Now, I would like to know who gave them access to the wiretaps and what triggered it. What date did the wiretap start and who signed off on it? Was it a judge or who has that situation, who's responsible for saying, okay, I see enough evidence for y'all to, for us to do these wiretaps? And in totality, what phones of who did they tap? Straight up. I'm interested. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Straight up.